Hi and welcome to another tutorial series. In this case, in this tutorial 5, we're going to talk about publishing content to ArcGIS Online or Enterprise. So let's go ahead and get started. It's going to start by setting up our enterprise. We're going to do some imports. In this case, we're going to use requests along with temp file, and we're going to import from ArcGIS.gis, import GIS. We're going to go ahead and connect to our online organization using our profile that we created from the first tutorial and connect as a named user. Now, our goal here is to publish information out as a service, and that bears the question is, what is a hosted service? And it's basically a way of publishing information out there on a hosted environment. In this case, it's going to be ArcGIS Online. That means they're going to host our data for us on their hardware and architecture, and we're going to be able to use the service as we own it. So that gives us the term hosted layer because it's hosted by ArcGIS Online and it takes care of all the hosting and managing servers, and you just have to worry about your layer. Let's look at the type of services we can have. ArcGIS Online supports a whole host of services, so you can have your feature layers and feature layer views. And views, you can think of them as database views where you're sort of maybe dropping only looking at a certain geographical area, or you're dropping fields, or you're only letting a certain subset of users see information a specific way that you wanted. And the hosted feature layer is the entire table within the database. And this is our vector data based ones. We can also have hosted WFS layers. So these are web feature services, and these are OGC services. We can host tile layers and vector tile layers. If you're into 3D, you can host scene layers, and then you can also host imagery layers on ArcGIS Online as well. So let's go ahead and put some data and information on there and go ahead and start pushing it up. So I'm going to take advantage of using the temporary directory, create a temporary directory on my machine because I don't want this data to persist after this code is run. So I'm going to download from a site called GeoFabric, and they host a collection of shape files. All that all come from the OpenStreetMaps, and you can find more in the link in the notebook. We're going to pass in the URL, and then we're going to use requests to stream our download down. We're then going to go ahead and write it in chunks to disk. Once it's all finished, we're then going to go ahead and add our content. Following the same pattern we used before, we're going to pass at minimum our title type and tags as the item properties, as well as the path to our data set to upload it back up to ArcGIS Online. Now that we've done that, we're ready to publish our items. Publishing our items is actually pretty straightforward and easy. So like the add method, the publish is going to take a set of parameters. In this case, it's called publish parameters. And this will allow us to customize things like symbology, the name of the service, and much more. Data can be published. We can publish our data both as tile or feature layers, in this case, based on the data that we have. And to do it, we're going to just take our item that we added up from before, do item.publish, pass in some basic publish parameters. In this case, I want the name to be Iceland OSM, and a description of the data. In this case, I downloaded data, and the data I downloaded was from March 2020. This gives us a new item just like we had before. We can go ahead and we can plot it on a map. So let's do gis.map, zoom to Iceland, add in all the layers. We can see we have a whole bunch of data there. And then if we interrogate the item.layers, we can see how many actual layers we have. We have 18 different layers, 0 to 17, because Python's zero-based index. And that's all it takes really to publish your data. I hope you enjoyed this simple example. And if you have any questions, check the link out below, take you to the GitHub page, and post it in the issues. Thanks.